Today is Monday, August 28th, 2023, and this is the Dunkley Report. Hundreds of people have gathered at prayer vigils and in church to mourn yet another racist attack in America. Authorities say a white 21-year-old man who left behind white supremacist writings killed 3 black people Saturday at a dollar store in Jacksonville, Florida. About 200 people showed up for a Sunday evening vigil a block from the store where officials say Ryan Palmeter opened fire Saturday before killing himself as police arrived. Republican Governor Ron DeSantis was loudly booed as he addressed the vigil. DeSantis told the crowd that authorities would not let people be targeted based on their race. The National Hurricane Center says Tropical Storm Idalia is near the coast of Cuba on a potential track to come ashore as a hurricane in the southern U.S. At 4 a.m. CDT Monday, the storm was about 125 miles off the western tip of Cuba, with maximum sustained winds of 65 miles per hour. The storm was stationary at the time. The center's latest update also has included a hurricane advisory for the Cuban province of Pinar del Rio. Hurricanes have winds of 74 miles per hour and above. Forecasters say they expect Idalia to become a hurricane on Tuesday in the Gulf of Mexico, and then curve northeast and approach Florida on Wednesday, with winds up to 100 miles per hour, becoming a Category 2 hurricane. In the first moments of the Maui fires, when high winds brought down power poles, slapping electrified wires to the dry grass below, there was a reason the flames erupted all at once in long, neat rows. Those wires were bare, uninsulated metal that could spark on contact. Videos and images analyzed by the Associated Press confirmed those wires were among miles of line that Hawaiian electric company left naked to the weather and often thick foliage, despite a recent push by utilities in other wildfire and hurricane-prone areas to cover up their lines or bury them. Many power poles on Maui were built to an obsolete 1960s standard, were leaning and near the end of their projected life. Hundreds of homes are gone, scores of lives lost, and dozens of people still missing after a fire ripped through the town of Lahaina. But in the land of Aloha, the spirit of Ohana endures. Amid calamity and misfortune, the Hawaiian word for family has taken on profound importance in a place in dire need of help. Some families have been irrevocably shattered, but the spirit of family and community survives. Ohana goes beyond blood. It is about a circle of aloha, love and affection, that bind those who hold each other close and dear. The U.S. Marine Corps says at least 3 Marines have died, and 5 have been critically injured when their Osprey aircraft crashed on a North Australian island during a training exercise. A statement says 3 had been confirmed dead on Melville Island on Sunday, and 5 of the 23 on board were flown in serious condition 50 miles to the mainland city of Darwin for treatment. Aircraft were sent from Darwin to retrieve more survivors from the remote location, but no further details on the fate of the other 15 Marines aboard had been released hours later. Police say no one on board has escaped injury. The crash occurred during Exercise Predator's Run, which involves 2,500 troops from the U.S., Australia, Indonesia, the Philippines, and East Timor. White men have largely controlled American conservation policies for more than a century. But environmentalists have mounted a new push to introduce marginalized groups, such as Black, Hispanic, and Indigenous people, and women to the outdoors, in hopes they will one day play a role in shaping regulations and policies. and their efforts are gaining momentum. With climate change reshaping the planet, advocates say including a wide array of perspectives is crucial as leaders debate environmental regulations and policy changes. The final 2 months of Yevgeny Prigozhin's life are shrouded in mystery. When the Russian mercenary leader staged a mutiny against the country's military in June, President Vladimir Putin decried it as treason and vowed punishment. But then he cut a deal not to prosecute the chief of the Wagner Group. 2 months later, Prigozhin's business jet plummeted from the sky. Russia's investigative committee said Sunday that it had identified all 10 people who were on the plane and died in the crash, including Prigozhin. The Kremlin has denied it orchestrated the crash as vengeance for his rebellion. Prigozhin's last weeks were overshadowed by questions over what the Kremlin had in store for him. Forecasters are warning of possible flash flooding and landslides across the eastern Yucatan Peninsula and western Cuba, and Florida is bracing for a possible hurricane by midweek, as a weather system off the coast of Mexico is expected to become a tropical storm by Sunday. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis declared the state of emergency Saturday. It covers Gulf Coast from the southwestern city of Fort Myers north through Panama City in the Panhandle. The governor encouraged residents along the Gulf Coast to begin their preparations. The National Hurricane Center says there is a 70% chance the system will become a tropical storm by Monday and 90% chance overall. Right now, it would be Tropical Storm Idalia. Gran Turismo, based on a true story, and Barbie are in a dead heat for the box office crown, with the video game adaptation just edging Greta Gerwig's pop sensation, according to studio estimates Sunday. Sony Pictures is reporting that Gran Turismo opened with $17.3 million over the weekend, while Warner Brothers estimates that Barbie, in its 6th week of release, is coming in with $17.1 million. Those totals could change when final ticket sales are counted Monday. The weekend was also a usual one in multiplexes. U.S. movie theaters held the 2nd annual National Cinema Day on Sunday, with $4 tickets to all films and showtimes at nearly all of the country's theaters. The U.S. military has identified the Marine Corps pilot who was killed when his combat jet crashed near a San Diego base during a training flight. Major Andrew Metler was piloting an FA-18D Hornet when it went down at 11:45 p.m. Thursday near Marine Corps Air Station Miramar. Searchers recovered Metler's body at the site, and the crash remains under investigation. Metler was a native of Georgia and known as Simple Jack. He was commissioned in 2007 and was a leader in his squadron, the Fighting Bengals. The crash site was described as government property east of the air station. Today's news was reported by the Associated Press. This has been the World News for Monday, August 28, 2023. Thanks again for joining us at The Dunkley Report.